Hello, my lovelies. While I was on my break, it seemed that there was a lot of drama that happened, and one of those stories that I have had yet to cover, even though it's been around for a long time, has been the story in the wacky saga that has been Lauren the Mortician and her lawyer, Jeanette Braun, which there's a lot of issues with this whole situation, and I probably will not be able to cover everything because there is a lot. People have made over hours-long videos about this, so I'm going to give you as much of the rundown as possible that I can cover. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be, it's not going to be perfect of a video, but I'm just going to talk about the situation because I've wanted to talk about it, but I have yet to cover it. So if you haven't, buckle up. If you haven't heard this, buckle up because it's a crazy story. So without any further ado, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and let's jump into it. Roll the intro. Welcome back. Now, who are we talking about? Well, the first person and the way that I heard about this was through a creator called Lauren the Mortician. She's big on TikTok. She has quite a lot of followers. Quite a lot of followers. And this situation started with some drama from, as far as I'm aware, I'm telling you how I found things out. So if you found things out a different way, I'm sorry, but this is how I figured out everything that was happening. So it started for me, with Lauren making a video kind of disputing something somebody else had said, which was was like a children's car specialist, because what Lauren does on her channel is she talks about kids' safety and what life was like being a actual licensed mortician. In her opinion, I cannot dispute nor deny, whether she was truly licensed, which is one thing that a lot of people are now disputing, is if she was actually licensed or not, based off the stories that she was telling about her time as a mortician. And people are disputing that, but I found out through her making a response video to this guy who is an actual licensed children's car specialist, car seat specialist. And I watched the video, and all he really said was hey, I saw you dispute this one car seat and say it's not good for kids, but I'm an actual licensed children's car seat specialist, or whatever the proper terminology is. He's hey, I'm an actual licensed person, and this car seat was safe, and I feel like you're spreading misinformation because you're not licensed with children's car seats. You're not, you can't say whether a car seat is good or bad in such a manner, basically saying to your millions of followers that it's not a good car seat, even though it has been approved by people like me that are licensed. And I would encourage you to get a license. And he was being very kind about it. And she went off and decided to post some things in other places, basically trying to imply that this guy was untoward with children, if you know what I mean. Which is weird, because he wasn't even being mean. And secondly, why would you ever try to insinuate that this guy is weird for having a bunch of car seats in his home, when that's literally what his job is? You're reviewing all these car seats as a mom, from a mom's point of view. Wouldn't it be weirder if you have all these children's car seats in your house, especially if you don't have any younger children like that anymore? I think it would be weirder for you than him, but I digress. So it started with that situation, and it ballooned into a lot of different things. And so, as the internet is prone to do, people started to talk because this was dragged out publicly online. And people like Becca Day, who will come up later, and people like Kitty, or Caffeinated Kitty, didn't mean to do that, or Caffeinated Kitty on TikTok started talking about this. Well, actually, Kitty was more dragged into the situation, and I'll explain that later. But people that talk about internet drama, such as Becca Day, or the Do We Know Them podcast with Jessie Smiles and Lily Marston. You know, people on YouTube also started talking about this, and it got a lot of buzz. And now, let's take a little pit stop to talk about one particular person and how they were dragged into the situation. We're going to talk about Caffeinated Kitty. Caffeinated Kitty is a creator on TikTok who makes very clearly satire videos about, traumatizing the men that bother her. It's kind of her tagline. And she talks in this kind of mellow tone, and she makes videos also talking about women's safety on the streets, as well as talking to women about their confidence, and if trying to give advice in case women end up in some bad situations, and trying to give some maybe not so conventional methods in order to do so. It's very satire, but also she makes you can tell when Kitty is being serious and giving advice, and when she's just being funny and being completely satire and playing with her whole, she's a villain life coach. She trains other people to be kind of villainous. It's her thing. She's satire, and you can tell the difference of when she's serious and when she's not serious. And quite frankly, I'm a fan of Caffeinated Kitty. I have been watching her content far longer than this whole situation. So I've already been familiar with Kitty's content and everything that she's been doing, and I have been a fan of her. So when this whole situation started, I saw a video from Kitty talking about how she was being dragged into this by people confusing her for Lauren the Mortician. And they both have this thing that they call a Beetlejuice quota, where it's kind of like a gag or a gig, like a little inside thing with their following. And if their following wants them to react to another video, and then they tag them. And it normally requires a lot of tagging, like Beetlejuice, summoning Beetlejuice by saying their name a bunch of times, at least 3 times. People were tagging Kitty in these posts about Lauren, confusing Lauren for Kitty, which I don't understand how you would get the two confused. But I think it has something to do with them both having that Beetlejuice quota kind of thing going on. So Kitty got dragged into this and had to respond being like, hey, this is me. I am not Lauren the Mortician. And quite frankly, I'm glad that I'm not, considering everything that's going on right now. So that's how Kitty got dragged into this. And at the same time that this was happening, creators, again, like Becca Day, who normally talks about internet news or drama, whatever you want to call it, as well as the Do We Know Them podcast over on YouTube, as well as numerous other creators. But for some reason, the Do We Know Them podcast, which is another podcast, which is another couple creators that I watched, Jessie and Lily. I also watch them in their Do We Know Them podcast. And it turns out that Lauren had a lawyer named Jeanette Braun, which everyone is calling Janet. So I will also fall in line and just call her Janet out of pure disrespect, because this woman is crazy. And I will not even show a picture of her or a video or anything of her, because of reasons that I will now get into. Lauren has this lawyer named Janet, and Janet decided to send cease and desists, as well as numerous copyright strikes, and is willing to actually fight this in court now. Caffeinated Kitty, which Caffeinated Kitty had even more crap done to her, but we're gonna just cover this portion of it. So Lauren hires Janet. Janet is a well-known kind of lawyer in the creator space for using crazy tactics and getting people's content removed if her clients, other creators, see other people saying things about them, and just is good at getting people's crap taken down at even some shady levels, is how I'll sum it up. So Lauren has Janet in her corner as her lawyer. Janet then goes ahead and sends numerous copyright strikes, unfounded copyright strikes, claiming that the Do We Know Them podcast specifically was doing... I can't even comprehend the level of just what the fuck this whole situation is, and I totally recommend you go and watch their podcasts, especially with as much trouble as they have had keeping these videos up talking about the situation, because all they did was use a video that Janet had made on her own TikTok, downloaded the video, because you can turn that off, Janet. I didn't know if you knew that, but you can turn them off, Janet. You can turn them off. But they downloaded the video, and it's just her, not even on screen, with the TikTok terms of service screen recorded and just going up the screen, and it's just Janet talking. So Janet then went and took down their videos and is now getting a lawsuit going with Kitty, with the Do We Know Them podcast, with Becca Day. She sent them all copyright strikes, has been just wreaking havoc on their videos in general, trying to get them taken down, and now a lawsuit is out. Now they're all having to go to court over this crap, over Janet and them talking about Lauren. And what they did to Kitty was just completely disgusting. We're gonna hop into that. So, I already explained that Kitty was receiving some cease and desists as well as copyright strikes, and them whole medley of goodness that Janet was sending her, right? They also decided to call her, and Lauren decided to call in a wellness check to Kitty's home, called places of work that she had and hadn't worked at, went into her history, called a wellness check, and tried to say, based off her content, which is clearly satire, they were taking it as serious and calling the cops and literally saying that Kitty might be a danger to herself and others based on her response to being mistaken for Lauren. And basically in her response video, Lauren said that she seemed erratic, and if I'm able to get the call from Lauren, I will definitely be putting it right here.
Place the fire.
Hi, I was calling. I was calling to ask for a wellness check on someone.
Okay, what's the address?
It is.
And what's your name?
I'd like to remain anonymous if I could. I know that's awkward, but this girl is just spiraling.
Okay, you're gonna have to give me something. What's the relationship?
So she has a presence online, and she is blackmailing people online. She is threatening people. She's on Reddit. She's on TikTok. She's acting erratically. Her comments online are wild. I think this girl is literally. Her name is.
Do you have her date of birth?
I don't, but I know she was born in February. I don't know the day.
Okay, and what has she been doing online?
She is leaving comments, threatening people, blackmailing people. She's on Reddit, trying to gather people together to go after people. She's
are
just
these people
acting.
You or someone you know?
No. Somebody I know online.
Okay.
Yeah, she's acting irrational, erratic, and honestly, I just wonder if her mental health is okay. Like, so she isn't going to harm herself or other people, because this.
Did she mention anything about harming herself?
No.
Okay.
But at this, this is just not like her normal stuff at all to be posting.
So you actually know her?
From online.
Okay, but you don't know her personally. You just know her online.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you don't want to leave your name.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
It's absolutely mind-boggling, this whole situation. And it just, the way that this has all ballooned out to then people coming out about Janet, because it turns out Janet has been doing this for a long time. I said she's been a lawyer for other people. So she's involved with other people's nonsense and doing the same exact crap that she has been doing in this Lauren the Mortician circle. And it's ballooning out into other creators coming out about her, people talking about her for the fact that she's now, heavily involved in this situation and being talked about. Now other things are coming out about Janet, and none of it's good. And as I said, a lot of people have made countless better videos about this, but my God. It's been like 2 months, and now these all these girls are having her, Kitty, Becca Day, Jessie, and Lily are all now caught up in a lawsuit with Janet over this crap. And it's just absolutely stupid and absolutely mind-boggling. This woman is a lawyer, and she is literally doing this crap. And it all started with Lauren the Mortician. It reminds me of the Illuminati situation in a while, which is something that I haven't talked about, but that one's kind of been talked about, and been talked about, and been talked about, and I really don't feel like I have much to offer to the Illuminati the whole story. I feel like everything that I could say has already been said, and said probably far better than I would be able to articulate. So it just reminds me of that situation where it starts out with one little thing, and then it just explodes into this absolute mind-boggling tangle of webs and weaves, and it's just absolutely crazy to just see and watch happen online. Like, it's crazy. And multiple lawyers have already talked about this online and saying that this lawsuit is basically gonna just be laughed out of court. It's just so mind-boggling that, like, a creator will be at the top of their game, and then one little thing will happen, and then it just explodes, and you see through the cracks, so to speak, and it's just crazy. So, yeah, I will be linking all their videos down below, their accounts. I will be doing all of that. Please go show these people support, as well as their GoFundMe to help fund this lawsuit. Please go watch their videos for more details. I just kind of wanted to talk about this to kind of spread the situation, so you guys go and watch their videos to give them support, because they've had videos taken down, they've had countless problems, and it's been an absolute nightmare, I'm sure, for everybody involved. So please go and give them some support. I love you all so much. What do you think about this situation? Especially if you go and watch their videos, come back and let me know your thoughts. Just, what do you think about this? And if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button on the way out. I don't just talk about this stuff. I also talk about books, movies, TV shows, and whatever else the hell I want to talk about. I'm starting to do gameplay videos. Finally, thankfully, thanks to being able to stream on Twitch and download videos from there, and then being able to clip those, I'm now being able to do gameplay videos, and I'm really excited about that. So yeah, if you haven't, subscribe, and yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. I think this situation is completely unneeded, unwarranted, completely crazy. Wow. It's just completely insane. So yeah, that's what I got. I love you all so much, and I hope you have the best day.